What's up guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Robert from Studio RSR, and today we're gonna finally be able to show you James Choi's amazing Supra build. So like the thumbnail says, this car and James is special because it goes against everything that we like to do. And what I mean by that is, if you guys have watched our other videos or follow us on Instagram, you guys know that we like to build cars in stages. That way the driver can learn each stage of the car and learn each part on the car and what it's doing and how to adjust it himself or herself whenever you get a new mod or something like that. But James was so keen on tracking his car. Yeah, he bought the Supra stock obviously and then started with suspension first. So he hit us up, asked for the full SPL suite. That means the lower control arms, all the tension rods, all the traction rods, the tie rods, everything adjustable on the SPL. And then went with the MCS two-way coilovers, the same ones that we have on our Project Supra. When he brought the car into us, it was already on the AP Racing 6-pot front BBK, and something that I'm very jealous of is he's got the rears as well. Having the rear BBK is something you don't really see on a lot of mini track Supras, but that's one of the things that really sets James's build apart from a lot of other builds that we've done. His car has literally got more power and performance than most of what we've built so far, even our own Supra. And I think the only car that matches the power and performance of this car is probably Jarrell's Supra. So there's a lot of things that are similar to on James's car, both on our own project car and on Jarrell's car. But as you can see, obviously the exterior is much different. It's got different aero setup, but we'll get to that in a second. So for cooling, you know, obviously we went with the CSF billet aluminum intake manifold, along with the rest of the CSF cooling suite, the front heat exchanger, and the auxiliary coolers. And paired with that, we were running a different turbo. Our car's running a pure 850. Jarrell's also on a pure 850. But for James, because this car was built a little bit later, the Dynamic AutoWorks turbos became available. And from all the logging that we've done with Zach at Counterspace Garage, he's checked off every box. He really likes the way that this turbo runs. Moving on from the turbo, obviously the fueling has to match all the power that this car is going to be making. That's probably the hardest part of this build that took us the longest time. Counterspace Garage fuel system consists more than of just the low pressure fuel pump upgrade. It has a full surge tank system within the factory fuel tank. So you've got the Walbro pumps in there, you got the surge tank system from Radium, and you've got everything, all the lines and all the controllers. This whole fuel system is running off of the reflex controller system, which works great with the surge tank system from Counterspace Garage. So there's so much to go over on this car. If you guys have questions, please shoot them in the comments. And while we're here, might as well subscribe. But obviously this car is catless because it is a track car. So the Dynamic AutoWorks turbo comes with a Dynamic AutoWorks downpipe, and that's matched up to the HKS titanium exhaust. So moving on the inside of the car, James went with two different kinds of seats. So he's got the Recaros in the driver's seat, which I guess he came by the shop and he was able to try out one of the seats that we had. Liked that more. And then for the passenger side, he wanted to give that passenger a little bit more room, so we've got the bigger Sparco for the passenger. But we're running Sparco harnesses on both sides. Obviously we're running our Studio RSR version 1 Supra roll cage, and yeah, he needs a steering wheel. One of the hardest things that we've come to find doing on the Supra is finding a seat combination that works with the floor mount, floor adapter, side adapters, rails, to get it to fit, one, but also two, to be able to use harnesses, mount them correctly and safely. But the third part is getting the stock seat belts to work. So we've got that combination working really nice here in James's car. But moving around to the back, James got the full Various Engineering Aerodynamics package. So he's got the rear wing, it's got the rear diffuser, the rear winglets. We didn't put the side skirts on. We think he's waiting on maybe changing out the side skirts completely. But the front is what I really love about this Aero package. The Various canards. Various' splitter is very nice. It's still the system that we're using on our car. This has the tunnels built into it. underneath the splitter, and then this came with the upgraded high downforce end plates for the front splitter. I almost forgot, guys, so the biggest key to this car that makes it higher performance than our own Supra and equal to Jarrell's car is the pure built transmission. So even though this is a track car, James wanted to opt out for all of the top of the line stuff, so he got the high stall converter along with the built transmission from Pure. So with that, this car is slated to be probably one of the fastest Supras in SoCal on the racetrack. So even though James's car doesn't have a built B58, we've got everything that we recommend to everyone who has a Supra and is doing mods to it. We've got the PCV block off pins in there. We've got the nice Radium 2 double canister catch can for the oil. We just finished doing the data logging on 91 octane. Obviously this car is not going to be running on 91 octane when he's on track. The cool thing about this car is if you look at it, it could be like a normal daily drivable Supra. It's got all the creature comforts still in it, got radio, AC, heater, everything that you would need on a daily driver car, but it's got all the power and performance to set down some crazy lap times at the track. So right now what we're doing is emptying out all the 91 octane since all the logs and tuning are done for that power level, and then all we have to do is, because Counter Space Garage's tune is set up for flex, is basically just do a safety log on E85. So right now James, our tech, is emptying the car of all the 91 so we can put a full E85 mixture into it. For the hood, obviously this car is going to be making a lot more heat and dissipating a lot more heat through all the CSF cooling. We don't want to trap that heat under the hood, and as much as James wanted to keep this a low-key car as possible, which I told him is kind of hard on a blue Supra with a big wing on it and a front splitter, he went ahead and listened and went with a vented hood. So I don't know what brand this vented hood is, but although it looks cool, we don't really recommend it because the fitment is kind of off. So one thing we've ever said negative in one of our YouTube videos. Aero-wise and exterior-wise, I think the only thing James wants to do now is get the Spage hood, which he will be getting as soon as that arrives, and eventually we're going to get him onto the EVS vented fenders. He may go EVS or Spage. Comment down below which ones you guys like. Obviously the Spage ones are a lot more expensive than the EVS ones, but they do have a bigger venting. So again, as much as this build is against what we normally do in terms of the driver and the car and their build, the build overall is what we love to do. It's basically an all-around daily drivable track car. So very excited. It's the beginning of the year for 2024, and James is excited to finally get this out on track. We've put a lot of pressure on him. Shout out to Tiny if you're watching this, because we're both going to have to make sure he does at least a sub 2 at Buttonwillow. So stay tuned. We'll be at the track soon. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.